Good morning to all you beautiful lot out there. And happy Father's Day to all you old geezers out there, like me. Looking forward to being well and truly spoilt by my kids, my three kids. As you probably well know, it was my daughter's 16th birthday last week, so we had a bit of a shindig, should I say, last night? No, Friday night. Yeah, went off well, early hours in the morning, so I'm just sort of getting over it now. So I apologise for not releasing another video yesterday, but there's no way you wouldn't see the state I was in. Right, anyway, let's get back to the Tottenham news. So yeah, so as we all know, so I look Spurs on here. Thomas Frank is the manager, as we already know from the other day, I think from the last video. I'm extremely excited now, and the more I look at him, and the more I read into him and look into him, the more I'm getting excited. I love his, I don't know if any of you watched go online and have a look at the meal that he went to with Gary Lineker. It's only quite a short little interview. It's really, I think you see a lot of what he's going to, the excitement and the things that he holds dear to him to going forward into the club. And I think that's really going to rub off well on some of the players. I know some of the players are sort of revolting, if you know what I mean, when with the Postecoglou sacking. But I must admit, I don't know if you've seen the video of Harry Redknapp on the golf day, and what he says is right. All these players having a go about us releasing him, well, they should have tried harder, shouldn't they? Losing all them games all the week, they wasn't trying hard on the pitch. You know they weren't. There's loads of them walking around, not getting back properly, not marking properly. Basuma doing sloppy passes, Pape Sarr, sloppy passes, giving the ball away, conceding goals. We know it was. So then come out all they like saying how much they love him and how much they want to do him. They didn't really put the effort in, did they, in the games? So it's on them, really, that he's lost his job. So, but moving forward, I'm really excited about bringing him in. I'm glad that he's brought in his trainings team as well. I think that's very important. I think that was one of the things that was the initial thing that got me going, or I don't know, the bad marks or the crosses against Postecoglou. When he first came in, and he was quite happily to work with anybody we brought in, any coach. I'll teach him my philosophy, and they go, surely if you've got a philosophy that's that important, you need people around you that have experienced the way you play so that they can pass it on to the players. For him just to come on and he can tell someone in a couple of weeks before they start the season, the alarm bells were there, people, wouldn't they? Let's be honest. But anyway, so that's coming. I'm really excited about him coming in. Going on to the social media release from Romero. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think last year, I don't think in the cup game, I think it was a couple, one of the games when he left the pitch. I think it was a game when he was our captain, and they had an absolutely disgusting performance, which was one of many last season, which everyone seems to have forgotten about when we won this trophy. But there was one of many terrible performances. But instead of going over to the fans, like he should have done, and apologise or clap them, them away fans that last season were, well, every season are fantastic. We have got, in my opinion, the best away fans. But that goes by the by. But he didn't even come out to thank him. He just went off down the change rooms. And then people were still going, yeah, but he's a winner. He's a winner. I don't care if he's a winner. He still needs to go and respect those fans, because this club is about us, not about them. I don't think it's about them. They're the ones out there doing the performance. We're the one that keeps this club going for years and decades and centuries going on. We're the important ones. So he needs to go over and thank us, no matter how bad he's feeling. So, and to release his comment and his message 50 odd minutes after Tottenham had released the news that we had taken on Thomas Frank as our manager was disrespectful and absolutely pathetic, in my opinion. And I honestly don't care if he don't play for us again. I'm quite happy for him to go. I'm not a person, I know on his day he can be a fantastic defender. I'm not saying he's not. And he could pass, I love the way he can drive through. But there's lots of other things that I think are such negative towards him. So I've never been a big buyer into him. He's not my favourite player, nowhere near it in the team. And if he does go, I'm quite happy if we bring in someone like a Braithwaite or someone in his position that, in my opinion, will be more consistent on the playing field, but also injury-wise and temperamental-wise. He's a liability most of the time. He plays about 50% of our season because he's always injured. And a lot of the time he does get injured, it's because he's going in for challenges that he should never go in for. I don't want to spend too much time on him because I'm actually really hoping now that he does leave the club. I want him to go, and I want to bring someone else in that actually wants to buy into Thomas Frank's philosophy and start helping with the team and building a relationship with Mickey van der Ven. Moves on swiftly to Sonny, because obviously those are the two players that we've been told that Frank needs to speak to first, to try and find out whether they're going to be sort of carrying on with us. Sonny, look, what do we say about Sonny? Sonny will forever be a legend at this club. I know he sort of jokingly accepted that he was a legend now that we'd won something, but for me, he'd always been a legend, even if he didn't. Let's face it, the Champions League, the time he's put into his club and the loyalty he's put into his club, outlays even Harry Kane for me. I think Sonny, and this is quite a big statement for me, Sonny has become my all-time favourite player for Tottenham. Because his loyalty, his attitude, when players have been jumping ship left, right and centre at Tottenham to go and win trophies, he stayed there because it meant so much to him to win that trophy with Tottenham. And he'd done it. So now, for me, his future should be down to him. Whatever he wants to do, I'm happy with it. The club have put a big figure on him. I hear it's around 50 million as a release. As soon as they pay 50 million, he can decide where he wants to go. But interviews that he's been given while he's been away with the national team have been a bit sort of sketchy. Not knowing, they've never been, before it's always like, I'm staying at the club, then my club, Tottenham, I'm never going to leave, and all that sort of stuff. This time there's a little bit more, you know what I mean? I think he was leaving a little bit of a sort of door ajar, if you like, so he can make his move out. I've heard there's offers from Italy for him, and obviously the Saudi offers that come from. I think Saudi probably would be one that Spurs would probably prefer, because that's more cash up front, and that's what Levy loves. And if you look at our signings that are coming in for Tottenham, which will take me nicely onto Buemo in a minute, and Eze, both of those signings are very heavily money up front. Both those signings. So something like Sonny going and that cash coming in quickly from the Saudis would just go wipe one of those signings out, and we could then potentially go for the second signing, if you know what I mean. So as far as Sonny's concerned, listen, if in an ideal world, in a perfect world, I like to see him stay for one more season so he can play in the Champions League next season, but maybe not as a all-time starter, if you know what I mean. If he has a period of when he's on form, then we'll keep him in the team. But as soon as he comes out of form, take him straight out, and then we've got a good replacement for him, someone like Eze or whatever, to take his place. But I still think Sonny has got something to offer, even if it's not for a whole season or even for 90 minutes. He's, in my opinion, one of the last world-class players that we've had at our club. Harry Kane being one and him being the other. I mean, most people you'll probably agree with me. It's not like rocket science to say that, but that guy, some of the goals he's got, just go and look. If you want to just have a little reminder of how good Sonny was or is, just go online and look for his best goals, Sonny's goals. They are phenomenal. The finishes, the touches, the control, the balance is running through. The guy is an absolute phenomenon and was, and he will always be. And which is why, watching it the other day, become my favourite all-time player for Tottenham. So yeah, Sonny's a legend, always will be a legend, and for me, he decides what he wants to do if he leaves this summer. Moving on to the signings. So what he's about, he's got the Buemo signing. It looks like, and has been put forward now, that we have officially made a £70 million bid for him to Brentford, and it's looking promising, people, for a number of reasons. Firstly, the Thomas Frank factor, that he's obviously worked with him. That couples up for us, I think there's a good feeling, because I feel that he needs a general on that pitch that knows what he wants to do, knows his way of playing, and potentially could be a captain. Because he's old enough, Buemo, he's quality enough, and he's a player that, if he comes into that team, it's going to be Frank's little extra bit to get his philosophy across quicker. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you've got someone actually in the team, Buemo can pull it around and have a little chat with people and tell people, get here, go over here, whatever. So on the pitch, which is exactly what I mean, like he's general on the pitch. So he can sort of take his philosophy, and he's got someone in the team that knows it already. So I think for that, Levy should absolutely go all out to get him. It's looking promising. Obviously, his initial first, he identified Manchester United as the places he wanted to go. He sort of almost agreed everything on personal terms, but nothing was agreed via the clubs. Because apparently Manchester United have only offered 50, 55, and they're not willing to pay any more than that. So that's another promising thing for us, to get him in. But yeah, I mean, he will be absolutely bang on. If we can get him and Eze, which goes back to my other thing. Both those signings are a lot of money up front. I think 60 plus, something like that, up front. And you know Daniel Levy does not like separating himself with his money, so he says it, but Tottenham's money. So the Sonny move could potentially do that. Also, if Richarlison goes to Saudi, that could free up some more cash, because he'll be around that sort of mark as well. I reckon between 35 and 50 million. It's looking like you could probably get for him as well. So that goes all into the coppers to spend. But yeah, I mean, to me, I think Eze has gone from my first signing, preferred signing, to now Mbeumo being my preferred first signing. But more because of that general on the pitch situation that I just discussed. Because I think he can get the philosophy across to the team quicker, if you know what I mean. Because obviously he's only got a quick pre-season, which in our pre-seasons, I know I think we've got, was it Arsenal, Newcastle, we've got Bayern Munich, and obviously the Champions Cup against PSG. Oh my God, if we could win that, can you imagine? Anyway, I'm not even going to go there. But yeah, so we've got quite a difficult pre-season. They've just announced another pre-season game with Luton away. So I think I might shoot out that actually, do some interviews outside. So if any of you see me down there, I'm going to try and get some tickets. And I might shoot up because I've got family up there as well. So yeah, it might be a little one for me to get an eye on the new squad, because I think it's a later one as well. So some of the signs would have been in there and playing by then. So yeah, I mean, that's why I want Mbeumo to come in as my number one signing above Eze, because of that reason. Nothing to do with ability. They're both brilliant players to me, both experienced brilliant players in the Premier League. And that's why we're going to pay a premium on them, because they've got experience and they're proven in the Premier League. We can bring Mbeumo in because of his set-up play, his finishing abilities off the scale. 20 goals last season. It's really starting to get me excited about next season now. If we can get those signings in, I just hope that Levy actually does it this time. Do you know what I mean? We always get promised this stuff. So we start getting excited, and then we get let down. He'll buy two promising players, and he'll buy a player that's most people don't really want. We're going to give a little chance to him. Just please, let's give us something this season to actually go for and really be excited about. From there, we go on to a little bit of news about the Matthias Tell. What I'm hearing is that the deal is done anyway. A part of his loan deal meant that he was always going to sign for Tottenham. It was a loan with an option, which actually, as soon as he played a certain amount of times, or done a certain amount of ticked a certain amount of boxes, if you know what I mean, playing performances and things like that become I've got a bloody word now, but basically is a certain, we have to buy him. And what it's turned into is they've been negotiating around how they're going to structure the deal. Levy doesn't want to pay so much money up front and things like that, but I think most of the money is going to come off of the Harry Kane deal with them. So they're going to basically write off some of the debt that we've got with them, which obviously Levy will love that. Me personally, there was a couple of players I would like them to have done a bit more hardball and try and got one of their players as well as some of the money. So you got basically two players coming for that dough. But it doesn't look like they're going to do that. I think the Tell thing's done. 50 million, I think, all in all, with all the bits and bobs around it. So that's done. So next season, trust me, guys, Tell's going to be wearing a Spurs shirt next season. That's it. I wanted to talk a little bit about, obviously, with the manager coming in, how important it is now that we keep Lang at the club. Because I don't know if you know, or most of you probably do know by now, but Thomas Frank and Lang worked together previously at another club. So they've already got that connection, that understanding, which I think is quite important moving forward. Paratici looks like he's going to be taking some sort of role at the club. We still don't know yet exactly what role, whether he's going to be just an advisor or actually take a place on the board or in the company of the football club. It still hasn't been made very clear, but I'm a great advocate of him. I really do think that he should come in the clubs. Lots of his signings have been good, or his points. There's a couple of haven't, but most have. And he's one extremely experienced person at getting good talent into a club. So I think it's important that we do get Paratici in. But that relationship with Paratici and Lang has to be sorted out, because obviously we can't have too many bleating Chiefs and not enough Indians, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you can't be having them all arguing about who they're going to buy, who they're going to sign, and Daniel Levy being the person that's trying to decipher between the two. But it's better to have that problem to have not a problem where they're not bringing enough stuff in. Yeah, so to me, it's a little point I wanted to touch on, because also I like your views down below if you know any more about that situation, the Frank and Lang situation, because it's quite interesting whether they, I mean, I've not looked into it massively, how well they got on with each other when they were working together before. But what I'm hearing is that it was a very good relationship, so that's important. The other point I wanted to touch on is Manor Solomon. It's a bit of a long video today. I'll try and cut it short a little bit. I'll try and cut this off in a minute. Do apologise. Manor Solomon. Thomas Frank likes the look of him, apparently. So I think he's going to wait to at least into the game of the pre-season before he makes a decision on him. For me personally, I think Solomon is one of these weird characters where in the Championship he looks fantastic, an absolute game changer. Put him in the Premier League, he's extremely sketchy and can turn it on for a game, 2, 3 go, if that, but then it goes out of form very quickly. And I think he's also one of these players that he's a very, he works on his emotions. So if he's out off the pitch and he's not feeling great, I think that affects his performance on the pitch. Plus, as you know, he's a little bit injury prone. So to me, I'm still not sure. I love how he looks when he played for Leeds last season, because he done fantastic with him last season. So if you sign a player that had done that well for another Championship team, we would get a little bit excited about him. Do you see what I'm saying? So I think what Thomas Frank is doing by giving him a chance, I think is the right thing. Do you know what I mean? I don't think just writing him straight off is the right thing to do, because if you used to bring in a player like him, you'd be talking 30, 40 million again, wouldn't you? Let's be honest. So let's have a look at him. If he's no good, we can get rid of him. We can take him out. And it's guaranteed money, because there's about 3 or 4 teams that actually want him. So it's more money to come in to go on transfers. It's another little thing to think about. Right, so what I want to say just now is about the club, and it's who we need and who we should be bringing in. For me, we already said like Buemo's come in. We need, after that, to form this club, to get this club going and be more rock solid, we need a monster 6. Okay, and there's about 4 or 5 names that have been put around, which I'm quite happy with all of them. I'm going to do a special post probably during the week or next couple of days, just based on those monster number 6s, because it's such an important role in our club. We've needed them for about 3 or 4, 5 seasons now that we haven't had a decent one in there. I know we've got you got Lucas that likes to play in that position, and also Archie Gray, but they're still kids. And when we saw Archie Gray in that position last season, it didn't really shine as much as I'd hoped, if I'm honest. But I think he had such a dodgy season. See, with Archie Gray, he came into the team, was played all out of position by Ange. I don't blame him, because it was because of the injuries. And he done so fantastically well to just cope with everything. That's the reason why we done so badly last season as well, because we had makeshift players playing all across the back 4. Then what I didn't like what Ange's done is then literally just dropped him. Them players, them youngsters that come on and saved him for a period, he then just dropped them for games and just didn't. It's almost like they weren't even in the squad anymore. It's another one of the bad things that I think that Ange did. But Archie Gray, I think we were pre-season with the confidence of winning that that medal around his neck from last season. I think we're going to see another progression from him, and a progression from Lucas, because Lucas, mate, he's going to be, for me, I'm hoping he can be the next Eriksen. It gives me those Eriksen vibes. I don't know if it's the same to you. He's got that lovely little turn of pace, that little touch, a little inside pass. He sees a little pass that no one else can see. He'll turn away from a player, and then instead of running, boy, his eyes up, and he's looking for that pass as well as the run, if he can do it. So that's a rarity with a player, especially at his age. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Lucas coming through. Obviously, we don't know exactly when he's going to be back from his injury, but the midfield is so important for us this season. I really think it, because you've got Bentancur and Maddison are not going to be back for quite a while, or straight away until the season starts. So it's very important that, I mean, Basuma, I personally want Basuma to go. He's one of the players I definitely want to go lead the club. But we know there's a great player in there, and maybe Thomas Frank can get that out of him. But I just think he's so sloppy, he's lazy, he makes stupid decisions. He tries to take the ball when he should be carrying the ball, and he loses the ball when there's no one behind him in bad position. He cost us so many goals last season, it's unbelievable. So yeah, that is one place. The monster number 6 is the player that we need to get in this season to change how we play. Because the signings again, we need to get the signs up. We need to sign some decent players this year, and I mean like statement signings. Because I don't know if you actually reckon or taken note of it, but you've got like Man United, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea. They're all making brilliant signings this year. They're going to be definitely improving for next season. So if we want to get back into that top 6 that we were before, we need to be making these signings and making these statement signings and not holding back anymore. We don't need any more players that are future good or future sell-on business. We need players for now to come into that team and let's get going and let's do something brilliant this season. So I want to say right at the end, please like, subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification button if you like my content. I know you do. You love hearing loads of stuff from me. I promise I'll be posting more often and more almost every day from now on. Obviously, I've had a couple of things happen. I got ill, didn't I? And then obviously my daughter's birthday, so it's been a bit sporadic recently. But I'll be back on there giving much more content. This is a bit of a long video. I do apologise. And I'll make a small one tomorrow or the next day. I think it is about midfield that I want to sort of get into. But yeah, please comment down below because you know I'll get back to all of you. I want to get involved with some conversations with you guys. And yeah, I think I'll leave it there. Come on, you Spurs. Tottenham till I die. Love you all.